Hey guys, it's Charmise Idris here, and today I'll be teaching you how I make an apple cider vinegar soap with ylang or lang, I don't know, essential oil. And then it's also topped with calendula and rose petals. So here's the soap, and I'm going to teach you how I make it. I know a lot of people call it yoni soap because it's supposed to be good for your pH, but I'm just calling it apple cider vinegar soap. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright guys, so of course the first thing we need to do is make our lye solution. So I am going to do half distilled water and half apple cider vinegar for this solution, and I know I typically use ice cubes just to make it quicker and less fumes, but this time I'm just doing it straight out with just regular water and apple cider vinegar. And I will be using a strainer just so the sediment does not get into the mixture. Although from what I've read, it seems like the sediment is perfectly fine to use, even consume, so I just don't want it in there though. So the next thing I'm going to do is weigh out my lye, and I do get my lye from Nature's Garden. I know a lot of people ask me about that. Yes, Nature's Garden, but you can also get some from Home Depot, Lowe's, Bulk Apothecary. Even Amazon has some, I think Essential Depot on there has it. But yeah, I get mine from Nature's Garden. And just a reminder, make sure that you are using a lye safe container. This is the symbol that is on the bottom of this container that I'll be using to mix the lye solution. And I did get this container from Dollar Tree, and it came with a top as well. As you can see, I went ahead and poured the lye into my liquid, so my distilled water and my apple cider vinegar. And of course, you always pour the lye into the liquid, never the other way around. And I'm just going to mix it up and make sure that my lye is fully dissolved into my liquid. Because I did not use the typical ice cube method that I usually do, this lye solution is going to be much hotter than I usually have it. So it's up in the 200s, 201 degrees Fahrenheit. And so I'm going to put this whole container in an ice bath so that I can cool it down much quicker. And while I'm doing that, I will go ahead and get started on melting my harder butters and oils. So I'm going to measure out the cocoa butter, and I do use deodorized cocoa butter for this recipe. And also I'm going to measure out the coconut oil. And just a reminder that the recipe for this soap will actually be in the description below. You can use a double boiler for the process of melting the harder butters and oils, but I don't do all that. I just like to pop it in the microwave a few times until it's melted. I do it in about 45-second bursts until it's fully melted. As you may be able to see, I still have some cocoa butter still floating around in there a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to stir it up until it's fully melted and then add in my castor oil and my olive oil. Now that my lye water solution has cooled down, I will go ahead and mix it straight into my oils, and I am using a strainer. Oh, and the temperature that I like to mix at these days are like just above room temp. So the lye water solution was 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the oils were 83 degrees Fahrenheit. And the main reason that I like to do this at a lower temperature now, so soaping in the 80-degree range as opposed to the 120-degree range, is so that I can control trace as much as possible. And I also have my stick blender on the lowest setting when I'm just getting started mixing the soap, because that will also help slow down trace. And what you're seeing right now is me mixing in real time, just so that you can get a gist of how long it takes me. And then once the soap is emulsified, I will add in my essential oil and then mix it until I get to a light to medium trace. While you guys are watching me mix in real time, I did just want to tell you some of the claims that I found about apple cider vinegar for skin. I can't back these up, but this is what I found in my research. So first, it is supposed to combat acne and scarring. Second, it works as a natural toner. Third, it helps balance pH levels. And fourth, it helps soothe sunburn, eczema, and psoriasis. And although I told you the claims about apple cider vinegar, make sure that you remember that if you are labeling it as soap, you can only say that it cleans. And then if you say it moisturizes your skin or beautifies or alters your appearance, it's a cosmetic. And if it heals things, then it's a drug. But for more information about that, check out the video in the cards above. Now that I'm at a nice thick trace, it's time to pour my soap into the mold and throw some designs on top. I'm just gonna go for the good old fork lines because I did not plan this out ahead of time. And I'm also gonna throw some calendula and rose petals on top. The first time I tried to go through and add the fork lines to the soap, my soap was not set up enough, so I did let it sit for about 3 minutes and came back and added some proper fork lines. While I'm adding my roses and calendula to the top of the soap, I do want to do a couple Patreon shout outs because they have some fire websites and I appreciate you guys so much for supporting me over on Patreon. Now that the soap is nicely designed, I think anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and spray my isopropyl alcohol on top. This time I did use 91% and I did this to prevent soda ash as much as I can. So it's been a little over 24 hours since I initially made the soap, so now I'm back to cut it. But first I have to unmold it, of course, and I must say that the soap looked very good unmolded. The corners did not bend. It's a nice harder soap, and I did not even have to add sodium lactate. The only problem were the roses, but that's because I didn't press them hard into the soap at all. And so now let's get to cutting the soap. There are no designs in it, but I think it's still satisfying to watch. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe if you like the channel. And if you like this video, please like the video. It actually does help me a lot. So thank you guys. Peace.